Welcome, Cynthia Erivo, actress, singer, songwriter, and Amanda Gorman, U.S. Poet Youth Laureate.
Hi, everybody. Hello. Well, I am excited. Are you excited?
Yes, I am very much so.
We have a star on stage.
Oh, Lord.
So please, if you have sunglasses or Eclipse goggles, take them out now. We have Cynthia Erivo. So I'm just going to begin because we have very limited time.
Sure.
So you are a Emmy winner.
Yes.
A Tony winner.
Yes.
A Grammy winner.
Yes.
Tell us, yes, right? Just
I know that's how I
casually,
feel.
Casually. For all of us non-angel, mortals here in the room, tell us, what it's like to have a role in a production like The Color Purple and have this amazing breakout moment.
Yeah, it's like a whirlwind, to be honest. When I came here from London, I didn't expect anything but to just be on stage and to do that show, and I was just happy enough for that. That was a moment in itself. And so with everything that came with it, I felt like I was stuck in the middle of a whirlwind. It was like everything was going around constantly and it didn't stop. It's been a complete privilege to be able to be a part of something that moved people and influenced people and helped people. I didn't realize just how much it would help, and to find out and to speak to some of the people that came to see the show, to see how it's helped in their life, everyday life, has been one of the most amazing things to be a part of. Yeah.
So can you tell us a bit more about you and beginning your career as an actor, your drama program? It's just so fascinating, putting you on this path, really.
Yeah. I like to say that I was pretty much the normal kid. I did the normal things. I went to school. I call it primary, you call it elementary. I went to secondary, you call it high school. I went to college, you call it university?
Yes.
I get lost in that. But I did all those things, and I was like a bookworm, but part of me was super creative, and I wanted to be, I wanted to perform, but I didn't really know what it was that I wanted. I didn't know that I had the stuff to do it. I realized I could sing when I was about 5 because I did a nativity play where they asked me to sing Silent Night by myself, and this 5-year-old realized that loads of people were really happy to hear this kid sing, and I was like, well, I want more of that. That feels really great. And then I guess when I was about 11, I started to explore the idea of playing different roles and reading books and seeing these different characters, and I just begun to let my imagination go. And I guess there's this weird time in I think everyone's life where you just sort of doubt yourself. So about 14, 15, I was around loads of people that were very book read, and they wanted to be scientists, doctors, and I had the propensity to do the same thing and felt like I was the odd one out for wanting to go into the arts. And so I sort of changed my mind and did a 360 spin and decided that I might want to be a spinal surgeon. It was very strange, but then I guess it kept coming back, music kept coming back, performance kept coming back to me in small ways, whether it be at someone's wedding where someone asked me to sing, or in a school play or something, and I realized that was what I was supposed to be doing. I went to university because I didn't know any better, so I went to study music psychology because I wanted to do something with music, which is the study of the effect of music on the person's psyche, basically, which we know is true. And then I guess halfway through, it wasn't as stimulating as I wanted it to be, and I know I needed something else. So I started doing like a youth program for young actors. And it was there that I met a woman called Ray McKen, and she asked me if I was training, and I said, training for what? She said, going to drama school, training to be an actress. I said, absolutely not, that makes no sense. She said, you should train, you should go to RADA. I said, there's no way I'm auditioning for RADA because I'm not going to get in, and that's nonsense. Can we please get on with whatever we're doing here? And she said, come up to my office, you're going to fill in the application form and apply for RADA. So I did. It was the only place I applied for, and I got in first time. And that's kind of how the whole ball got rolling. So, and from then, it just seems, everything felt like it sort of fell into place. It felt like that's what I was supposed to be doing. And then, later into it, this happened, The Color Purple happened, and everything else is, again, falling into place. And strangely enough, it feels like I'm doing another 360 where I get to go back to the music psychology and voice and all of that stuff where I can start to learn about it again and spread the word.
Wow.
Yeah.
I feel unimpressed with my own life. Speaking of RADA, you know, this incredibly prestigious school in the UK, you were one of only 4 black students in your program. Can you talk about that a little bit more, the significance you see of diversity and representation?
Yeah, I mean, it was odd, and I was one of 3 girls, and there was 1 boy. Only 4 of us were of color, and only 4 of us were black. There were no other. Everyone else was white, Caucasian, and it was an odd dynamic because in that situation, a lot of the teachers see you as a specific stereotype before you've even opened your mouth. So as far as a lot of them were concerned, I was the strong black woman monolith stereotype. And it meant that I kept falling into specific roles that didn't really allow me to explore the full scope of what I could be. And I feel like that is a sad thing because we need more of us in these places so that they can see that there is a myriad of these different people, different personalities, different qualities, different strengths, weaknesses, whatever, in order to make people thrive. It was because of a wonderful woman called Dee Cannon, who was my teacher, my acting teacher, who saw that was what was happening and forced me to learn about my vulnerability, that I was able to sort of learn about what I could be. And it turns out that the vulnerability is actually my strongest suit.
Interesting. So your vulnerability is what makes you strong as an actor.
Correct.
If you have not seen this phenomenon, after this, go on YouTube, look her up. You will see that vulnerability shadow the stage. One thing that really brings up that I know you're very passionate about is knowing your worth, not only as an actress, but as a human being.
Right.
Can you talk a little bit more about that and how you own your own worth throughout this whirlwind of a journey?
I mean, I think I'm going to speak specifically as women. I think we have a tendency to apologize for just really being in a room. Like, you get in the room and you're like, oh, I'm so sorry I'm here. Am I supposed to be here?
Yeah.
I'm not sure, but I will prove to you that I'm supposed to be here. When really we have to get to a point where we're comfortable with being where we are. If you're good at what you're good at, you're good at what you're good at. You know what I mean? And it's only at that point that you can start to actually move forward from there. I think we spend way too long trying to prove that we're supposed to be where we are when we are where we are because we're good at what we do. And I sort of realized that quite quickly probably because of my mother. She's as stubborn as anything, and she didn't feed me anything other than that. She taught me how to be confident pretty much from the get-go. I was wonderfully given the opportunity just to be who I am. She wanted me to do the things that I wanted to do and to work hard for them. So all I've ever known is to work hard to get the thing that you want to do. Nothing is impossible, and with hard work you get it. And I think that I would like to leave that with many of us women, because we're sort of left not knowing that we can do that, and that we're allowed to be everything that we are, and to not apologize for that. If you are successful, there's nothing wrong with being successful. If you are intelligent, there's nothing wrong with being intelligent. Rather, feed that, nourish it, and just keep getting better. That's what I think.
Dropping some wisdom. I'm still blown away. And I'm the interviewer. Yes, can we applaud to that? Thank you. Speaking of women and feeling apologetic about being in the room, you wrote this amazing piece for Essence about solidarity, specifically for women of color. Can you talk a little bit more about that and the incident that kind of brought that to the forefront of your mind?
It seems quite shallow, but I think I think the entirety of it was just the thing that made it come to the forefront. I kept, if I do a catwalk show, then it would go up on a website and it would compare to someone else. Or maybe if I would speak about a job, and then it would be like, no, she can't do it because she's got to do it. And it was a comparison between women constantly. And I felt like it doesn't do us any good to separate each other and to compare, as opposed to work together to lift. I think that we are better as a team than we are separately, and I think that we waste our time when we're fighting amongst ourselves and trying to separate ourselves from each other, when actually we're all kind of going through the same thing, and if we were just doing it together,
Yeah.
it would probably be a hell of a lot easier. And I think we'd be even more successful than we are anyway, because we work really hard, and imagine working really hard together. That would be a force to be reckoned with, is what I think, personally. Yeah.
Another snap to that, very true. One other thing I want to ask you about is, what is the word for this? Your amazing health commitment, your self-care regimen. Go on her Instagram. You will see her Insta stories of, she is not a powerhouse just vocally, but physically. You could probably tear down a wall if you wanted to. So tell us about, you're traveling between Montreal and here, you're filming all of these projects. How do you take care of yourself physically and mentally?
I feel like self-care is probably one of the most primary things that we have to give ourselves. Ladies, I'm speaking to you particularly, because I think we don't afford ourselves the time to do that. And this is for everyone as well, but particularly for ladies. Self-care is the thing that takes care of the inside before you get to the outside. So yes, I go to the gym 5 to 6 times a week. I work out every one of those days, and on the day that I'm not working out, I'll do something that's physical but less taxing. And I take a moment to breathe, and I take a moment to meditate. I take these moments in my day to check in with myself, because I feel like if you start with the center of yourself, if you start with what you need and find out what you need, check in and breathe for a second, it's the only way that you can move forward successfully. I think that if we don't take care of ourselves, we can't really take care of anything else after that. If you're struggling to give to yourself first, then you can't possibly give away all of your energy if you haven't left a little bit for yourself. So I say take that the first in the morning, that's what I tend to do, and then start searching for what you need to give out. I think it's really, really important to do that. Really.
Wonderful. I go to the gym 5 to 6 times a decade, so that was great to hopefully your health will rub off on me. We only have a little bit more of time, but my last question for you is to name someone that you look up to and why. She's playing Harriet, by the way, Harriet Tubman, yes. So what's a woman who you draw strength from?
Her name is Edith Erivo. She's my mother. And she's just kind of awesome. I've only ever had encouragement from her, and she worked really hard to be where she is right now. And she's never really, I used to watch her and think, how do you do that without complaining and there's always a smile, and it's always an encouraging word, and it's always pushing me to be better, and that's all I've gotten from her. So my stubbornness and my confidence and my readiness to work and readiness to get things done is from her. She's still like that now, so I'll get her on the phone. She'll be on the phone later on, and did you do that? Did you make sure that? There was a question she asked me when I was about, I think, 17 or 18, when she hadn't heard me sing a lot for a week or so. She said, I hope you're still singing. You still have to, what's happening with your music? Really concerned. And for someone I'm Nigerian, so you don't really get that from Nigerian mothers who are asking to find out if your music is okay, because singing isn't really the thing that you get. It's not the thing that parents think of their kids going into, but she was all for it. She wrote down in my baby book, she knew before I did, she has a baby book that she had written down what I would be at the age of, I want to say 2. She wrote down that she thought I was going to be an actress or a singer, and then it changed when I was about, I think, 4, to being an actress and a doctor. And that was because I had watched her being a nurse, so I think I was doing things that were mimicking what she was doing. But she always knew what I would be and just encouraged. So she would do whatever she needed to encourage. And not forcefully, but there would be little things that she would do to just push me forward, to encourage me to do what I was best at. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for talking with us. Please, a round of applause for Cynthia.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, everybody. It's awesome.